What's up, Nerfy here. Today we got Scarlet, the first of the Summer Festa Fatecores. I'm going to go over her abilities. I'm going to give you an overview and whether or not I think you should pull for her. And then I'm actually going to do an overview of all of the Summer Festa Fatecore heroes and kind of let you know what I think you should be saving your Zeds for and who you're going to be pulling for. Obviously, I'm going to be doing an overview on each character as they come out, but just as I see it now, based on the base characters, right? The core characters that the Fate Cores are going to be off of, right? All right, so anyway, let's get into Scarlet. All right, so let's get into Scarlet's abilities. First, we have Mana Utilization, we've got Shelter Investigator 2, then we get into the good stuff, we've got Ice Shower. If the caster has a removal buff, Recovery, which I'm guessing is a hot or a heal over time, or a positive effect applied to it, each valid attack imbues Frosty Bolt on targets for 3 turns. Frosty Bolt is essentially a CC or stun. All right, they can't do anything. This could be really good. If this synergizes with mana utilization, because mana utilization is technically a positive effect, you gain attack based on how much mana your allies had at the end of the previous round, right? So if this works with mana utilization, it means you'll always have a positive effect. Therefore, like it'll always be active, right? If that's the case, then that's awesome. If not, it'll be kind of meh, kind of like niche and situational because it means that you have to have some sort of buff or something on you, which means you have to build your team around it, right? Next, we have Summer's Blessing. When the battle starts, grants Frost immunity for 1 time to all allies. So all allies get a 1 time immunity to damage from Frost, basically Battery counter, right? Which is nice. And then increases target's attack by 50% for 9 turns when Frost damage immunity is removed. All right, so once you're attacked and the immunity is removed, you'll get 50% attack buff for 9 turns. All right. Also, this should. Sorry, I just bumped my mic. This should synergize with the ice shower, right? Which is nice, but and it's cool that the passives will synergize with each other. However, that means once the immunity is removed, then you don't have this beneficial effect anymore. So Ice Shower no longer does anything, right? Unless you have some sort of other beneficial effect or buff or anything like that, right? Um, so like I said, the frost damage immunity, right? A lot of people are going to be hyping it up like battery counter. Oh my god! But mm, meh. Like you're gonna be using Bathory regardless, right? Just because this character came out, people are gonna be like, "Oh, I can't use Bathory anymore." You're still gonna see Bathory everywhere, and basically all it does is nullifies her first skill 1 on turn 1. That's it, right? So nice, but not like game changing or anything like that. It's not gonna change the meta, all right? So don't hope for that. All right. So next we got the skill 1. Deals 178 damage to all enemies for 3 mana. Kind of lackluster, a bit meh. Honestly, PvP wise, good way to get yourself killed. PvE wise, it's okay. 3 mana for 178% damage, I wouldn't say is great. Next, we have skill 2. 357% damage to all enemies for 5 mana with burst. This is great. Anybody who has Bathory, anybody who has FC Annie knows that this kind of ability will deal a bunch of damage, right? Really nice. So overall, I would say Scarlet is all right. She's okay. Is she worth pulling for? In my opinion, no. All right. So the best part about her kit is the frost immunity, right? But like I said, PvP wise, that's not enough to make me want to use her, right? When it comes to back row heroes, there's just so many amazing options to choose from, right? FC Xeon, FC Baraka, Rudley or FC Rudley, um, Bathory, um, did I say Rara? I think I said Rara. Like there are just so many amazing, amazing back row heroes. This passive on Scarlet doesn't do enough for her to make her really worth it. Right? It's like, yeah, she does have this ability over here that does a lot of damage, but think about it, right? FC Annie has the same ability basically, but her buffs to your fastest ally makes her so much better, right? So much more worth it. Bathory also does this, but she also has Tranquil and works with Rara and Illum. I mean, she's like the best character in the game, basically, all around. Um, so it's kind of hard to compare that. But it's just there's so many better choices when it comes to PvP that I wouldn't say she's really worth it. Like she could find a place in one of your tag um, teams, right? But do you really want to spend a whole bunch of Zeds to just get a character they're going to use in one of your tag team teams? I feel like not, right? All right, real quick, I am editing this in after the fact because I thought of it while I was editing my video. Again, when it comes to PvP, right? People are gonna try and sell this passive as the Bathory counter. However, at least when I face Bathory, what I do or what I rely on is I'm using Rudley. So what happens is Bathory uses her skill 1, she AoEs me. I have FC let's see, I have FC Anastasia and FC Rara, right? So I Wrath her, which brings her down to 1 HP, and then Tranquil saves her, and then Rudley will counter and kill her. All right. However, if you've noticed, um, for anybody who uses like FC Rara, FC Annie in their team, if you have damage immunity, because FC Annie gives damage immunity, if you have damage immunity, Wrath does not proc. Wrath doesn't proc, Dragon Blood doesn't proc, Counter doesn't proc. So that means when Bathory uses her skill 1, you won't Wrath her back, you won't counter her back, and you won't get any of the Dragon Blood stacks, right? And I kind of rely on those Dragon Blood stacks that Bathory gives me when she uses her skill 1, right? It kind of tanks up my team. Um, so I just wanted to throw that out there. So if anybody's using that kind of team comp and that's how it's working out against Bathory right now, and you throw in Scarlet, it's going to change the way your comp works against Bathory completely. All right? Now, back to the video. And then when it comes to PvE, she's not really worth anything in my opinion because like where are you going to use her that you're like, "Ooh, she's really good here." Right? Like special dungeons, she does have a bunch of AoE. That's good. Don't get me wrong, but there's so many other options, right? When it comes to AoE, like I said, FC Annie has an AoE. Um, Sabrina, Xeon. There's just so many characters that you can use when it comes to Fire Day special dungeons. You really don't need Scarlet whatsoever. Like you can complete Fire Day special dungeons with all rare and legendary heroes, no FCs included, on auto. It's that easy. So like you could pull her and use her in FC special dungeons, but it's not like oh, my life just got a whole bunch easier because I got this character. No, not at all. And when it comes to dragon, it's not like excels there. She doesn't really do much for you PVE wise. Okay, so in my opinion, hard pass. All right. I knew she was good. I mean, I didn't know, but I assumed she was going to be a hard pass before she even came out, just because the base character Scarlet really doesn't do much, right? She just has two AoE abilities. That's it. So the only way that she was going to be worth pulling for is if she had an amazing passive, just like the Dragon Knights, basically overpowered, completely overpowered passive. Otherwise, she wasn't really going to be worth pulling for. All right. So that is my overview of Scarlet. Now we're going to get into the overview of the Summer Festa heroes and how I think you should be saving and thinking about spending your sets for the next like 6, 7 weeks. All right. All right. So I moved over here to the screenshot of all of the Summer Core or Summer Fatecores heroes. All right. So let's start with Charlotte. Right. Charlotte, like I just told you, pass in my opinion. All right. Now The thing that a lot of people have complaining about and have been concerned about since this game released is that they're releasing a new Fate Core literally every week. And they're like, this pace is just too much, right? Can't keep up with it. You can only pull on every like three banners or something like that, you know? Um, but I have to say that I think part of the reason people have been feeling that way is because the first set of Fate Cores that we got was Dragon Knights, right? And they were the meta makers, right? They're the meta breakers, the meta makers. The Dragon Knight passes, you know, Wrath, Dragon Blood, they made a like decent unit into a really good unit, and they made a really good unit into a stupidly overpowered unit, right? So it never really felt like a hard pass, right? It felt like you don't need this one as much. Like Ramji, it's like, I don't really need Ramji, right? Or like Baelish, Maggie, don't really need him that much. But it never felt like a hard pass. Like I think Scarlet is much more of a pass than any of the Dragon Knights were, right? So what I'm trying to say is when it comes to the Summer Festa, right, they're probably going to be coming out with a new one every single week, just like they have been. However, I think it's a lot easier to just say pass on this, right? You don't need it, right? Dragon Knights so much more useful. It's like even if they're not in the meta for PvP, PvE wise, right? Like you can't clear a special dungeon unless you have a Dragon Knight, basically, for some of the days, right? And so you kind of felt forced to pull. But Summerfesta, not so much, right? So, and the thing is, if you look at these heroes and look at their kits or the base characters, a lot of them really just don't feel like they're going to be worth pulling for, all right? So, like, let's start all the way on the right. We got Dagus. Dagus is actually, like I said earlier, one of the strongest tanks that there is in the game. One of the best legendaries in the game, really strong core hero, definitely worth pulling for. Of course, we're going to have to wait to see what his Fate Core is going to be, but I think he's definitely going to be worth pulling for, and especially if he has the same exact passive as Scarlet, right? People are speculating that each hero will have a different element for the damage immunity. You know, like so Dagus would have like an earth damage immunity instead of a frost one. But if Dagus has a frost one and has that like quote unquote cancer or quote unquote I want to say counter passive for Bathory, that'll make Dagus just off the roof, like off the charts, amazing. All right, but anyway, Dagus will definitely be worth pulling for. But we move over here to Glenn, right? Next, Glenn, right, as a base character, really isn't like anything special, right? Like his kit is kind of whatever, nothing special, right? And when it comes to rare heroes so far, when it comes to FCs and them being like kind of hype, right? FC Xeon was amazing, but that's because he was a gold fake core, right? And people are already saying that FC Iris, right, is going to be gold fake core, and we're all assuming, I'm sure we're all assuming that Valentina is going to be the other gold fake core. So what does that mean for Glenn, right? His base kit isn't really that impressive, and looking at Scarlet's passives, if Glenn just gets some passives that are kind of similar to Scarlet's, he's not going to be worth pulling for, right? At all. So I just want to mention that. But next we have Valentina, right? Who just like I said, we're all assuming is gold fake core. But if she isn't a gold fake core, Valentina really is meh, right? Like she's one of the more lackluster fated heroes. Even if you combine her with Shafrakin, who she synergizes with, she still kind of just doesn't really bring too much, right? She has the mana drain, which is nice, but aside from that, she doesn't do much damage. She's really lackluster. So if she's not the gold fake core, she's not going to be worth pulling for, except for the fact that she looks amazing, right? Honestly, I could see them just making her a black fake core because they know everybody's going to pull on her because her character design is fine. She's fine. I'm just going to say she's fine. All right. So next we have Iris, which, you know, like I said, all gold, right? She's going to be the gold fake core, so most likely she's going to be really, really strong, right? Gold fake core so far have been amazing, and FC Xeon was amazing, so I'm going to assume they're going to try and bring her, maybe not to FC Xeon level, but like something worth competing with. You know what I mean? Um, but if you look at her base kit again, like it's okay, but it's not great, right? So I'm really looking forward to what they're gonna do with her. Next we have Bernadette. Bernadette, I really like Bernadette. I think the base character is really strong. PvE wise, she's amazing. PvP wise, she's also strong. There have been a few times where Bernadette just solos my team. She just wipes me. Um, and I think I'm definitely gonna be pulling for her. But again, like the passive, like the Scarlet passive, I don't want to see a Scarlet passive like that on Bernadette. Like Bernadette is such an offensive, like nuke in your face character. Just giving some sort of damage immunity or some CC as a passive onto her isn't going to do that much for her, in my opinion. All right, I just want to throw that out there. Like I said, I'll probably be pulling for anyway because I do really like her as the base unit even. Um, but yeah. Next we have Scarlet. I already went over Scarlet, but I just wanted to say that, if you look at Scarlet as a base unit, she's really not much to look at, which is why when you add the Fate Core on top of it, she's still not much to look at, right? And that's the problem with Yao over here, right? People are saying Yao's going to be the blue FC, and I don't know, I should have looked up before I made this video what units are in the same country as Yao. But unless she's gonna be giving like massive buffs to like some of the most meta characters in the game, she's not going to be worth 28, like the same as Baraka, right? She's not going to be worth 28 pity at all, right? If you look at Yao's kit, it's like her attack buff is nice, right? It's nice, don't get me wrong. It's not bad, it's nice. And her skill 2 isn't bad, it does decent damage, but it's not enough to be like, oh yeah, definitely 28 pull that, right? Not enough at all. So that's it. That's my summary. It's kind of negative, I'm not gonna lie, but I just want to say that like I feel like it's gonna be a lot more relaxed when it comes to pulling. Right? The Dragon Knights, everybody felt kind of stressed and like, oh, every single week there's a new banner. This is too much. But that's just because the Dragon Knights were so strong. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the Summer Festa banners, I really feel like I'll probably be pulling on half of them, if that. And um, and kind of working on my string of creation like I will be this week since I'm not pulling for Scarlet, right? And also, I just want to say on the back end of the Summer Festa, I mean, I'll go over this later, but on the back end of the Summer Festa, right, we're going to get Chapter 11, and we don't know how they're going to bring out the new characters, right? We don't know if they're going to be through banners or they're just going to add them to the pool or whatever. But dude, all of the Chapter 11 heroes look freaking sick. So if we get to the end of the Summer Festa, and that's when we do like Yao as a blue Fate Core, like that's when Glenn pops up. Just remember that Chapter 11 has some sick heroes like Dorsa and Schmidt, right? That I'm sure everybody's gonna be want to be rolling on. All right, so you might want to save your Zez if it's not a must pull. All right, so that's it for this video. I'm out, and I will still do and I'm still gonna do like actual character review for each one of these heroes when they're revealed, right? Like I could be wrong. Like they could just be like Scarlet might just be a warm up, right? Like we're just easing into it. We're gonna bring out the big guns later. You know what I mean? So yeah, I will be doing a review of each of these characters, letting you know whether or not I think it's worth pulling for. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'm out. Catch you next time. Peace.